I found the second phone tucked inside the lining of his gym bag while I was looking for a spare hair tie. It wasn't just a burner phone meant for quick calls. It was an entire second life documented in messages and photos that dated back to before we even got married. My hands were shaking so hard that I almost dropped it when the screen lit up with a notification from a name I didn't recognize, sending a heart emoji and asking if he was safe to talk yet. Mark has always been the kind of man who makes you feel like the center of the universe, which is exactly why this hit like a physical blow to my chest. We have been together for 6 years, and in all that time, I never once felt the need to check his pockets or question where he was after work. He was the stable one, the person who kept me grounded when my own life felt chaotic. Or at least that is what I told myself every single night. I sat on the edge of the bed for 20 minutes just staring at the glowing screen, feeling the weight of every lie he had ever told me beginning to crush my rib. The house was quiet, but the silence felt aggressive now, like it was mocking me for being so blind for so long. When I heard his keys jingle in the front door, my heart hammered against my teeth. He walked into the bedroom wearing that easy, tired smile he always uses after a long day, dropping his coat on the chair like everything was normal. "Hey babe, did you find what you were looking for?" he asked, his voice steady and warm. I didn't say a word. I just held the phone up so the light reflected off his face. His expression didn't crumble immediately. Instead, it went completely blank, a mask of indifference sliding over his features that scared me more than if he had started shouting. "Where did you find that?" he asked, and his voice was so cold it made the room feel like it had dropped 20 degrees. "I thought I knew you," I whispered, and the sound of my own voice felt foreign and thin. He didn't move toward me to apologize or try to explain it away with a frantic lie. He just stood by the door and sighed like I was the one being an inconvenience. "You weren't supposed to see that side of things, Sarah. It has nothing to do with us," he said. I stood up, the phone still clutched in my hand, and felt a sudden sharp clarity wash over the shock. "Nothing to do with us," I repeated. "You have a daughter with this woman, Mark. I saw the pictures." He finally looked away then, his jaw tightening as he realized the depth of what I had discovered in those few minutes of scrolling. The conversation that followed wasn't a movie scene with crying and throwing things. It was a clinical dissection of a relationship that had been a hollow shell for years. He told me he loved me, but that he needed a different kind of life elsewhere. A life he claimed was too complicated to integrate into our world. I listened to him talk about his double life as if he were discussing a business merger that had gone slightly off the rails. It became clear that the man I loved didn't actually exist. He was a character Mark played because it was comfortable for him. I realized then that I wasn't mourning a husband, I was mourning a ghost I had invented. I started packing a bag while he was still talking, moving methodically from the closet to the suitcase. He tried to stop me once, grabbing my arm and saying we could figure out a way to make it work, but I looked at his hand until he let go. "There is no version of this where I stay," I told him. He watched me walk out the door with that same blank expression, and I didn't look back at the house once. I drove to a hotel 3 towns over and sat in the parking lot for an hour just breathing in the cold air. The betrayal was deep, but for the first time in years, the air felt like it actually belonged to me.